Welcome to episode 5 of Tailgate Talk. We will be discussing college and high school football and are joined by a special guest, Joey Carroll, head coach of the Lehigh Generals. Boys, let's get it popping. We are privileged to have Coach Joey Carroll, head coach of the Lehigh Generals, joining us today. Coach, we appreciate taking time out of your busy schedule to share your insights on college football and high school football. Coach, please feel free to join in and enjoy the discussion.
Thanks, guys, for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. All right, boys, college football this week. We didn't have a lot. It's just now getting started. A lot of them's playing their warm-up games, but we did have a few games with some ranked teams playing each other this week. And up first, we had Clemson against number 1 Georgia. Anybody got anything on that?
Oh, that's a big game. We talked about there last week, and I just knew Clemson didn't have enough to put it on them dogs, buddy. But now Clemson did play with them for about a half a ball game. They played a real good first quarter against them, only allowing 2 field goals, and I thought it was going to be a heck of a ball game, but Georgia finally pulled away with it.
Yeah, I think the Dabo domination is done in Clemson, in my opinion. It was a record crowd on hand for this game too, and like you said, Clemson did play tough in the first half, but the second half Georgia settled down. Seemed like they got their wits about them, and they started rolling. They had 9 different receivers catch passes, and out of 278 yards, 200 yards came after the catch.
That's wild.
That's crazy yardage after the catch.
I thought I think of Georgia, I just think of beating people to death, but I thought Clemson was going to stick in it till the bitter end, but Georgia came out the second half and just done what they do,
I think from a coaching perspective, Dabo does things the right way, and the SEC it's just the depth, man. And to me that game went the way that it. Clemson can play with them, but then the depth just wears them down, and they just got too many guys. Yeah,
definitely. When you got your first 3 guys, could be starters about anywhere. It makes it tough. Penn State 34, West Virginia 12. Finally, Penn State football was fun to watch. Once again,
it wasn't that much fun.
Yeah. They ain't hardly playing superb defense this year, but the offense has some explosive plays. Going to be fun to watch them this year. The Nittany Lions, if they can keep up doing what they're doing this first week all year long, I think they're going to be tough. And it'll come down, I think, and they've got Ohio State at home this year, so. Mm-hmm. Look out. They could be right there in that playoff when it comes around this year.
Man, I know Penn State pulled away with this one, but I'm telling you, there was some hard-hit licks in this ball game on both sides. It was a good, hard-hitting game, I mean, other than on the scoreboard.
Anybody else got anything on that one?
I didn't get to see much of that one. I just knew it. I'm a Big Ten fan, and Penn State's always solid. Good defense. Going to their place is always tough. Where was that game?
It was at
West Virginia.
It was at West Virginia.
Right. Yeah.
They burned all them couches for no reason. There was probably some petroleum-based smells going around that town like crazy. All right, number 19, Miami versus Florida. It's going to be a tough year for the Florida Gator fans, I believe.
I love to see it.
Both coaches here being on the hot seat probably. I really felt like coming into this season. Ward was dynamic for Miami. They have found themselves a quarterback, boys. Going into the swamp and performing the way he did, that's saying a lot, because it don't matter how good Florida is. Going into that swamp is a place that's very hard to go in and win at, let alone dominate the way they did. And he looked really good. Miami may be back, boys.
I told you Miami's headed back to the top of the ACC, which that don't mean much, but but that, like you're saying, that is big when you can go into Florida in the swamp and win. Man, you can ask any SEC schools; they'll tell you the same thing.
That's right. I agree. How's that one gone lately? I know a couple of Miami fans, but it hadn't been. So it's kind of impressive for Miami to.
Yeah, absolutely, it was. They've had, like, for the last 2 or 3 years, a lot of high expectations,
Right.
And then it's just been kind of a letdown season. Like, it started off rough for them, and it just did not get no better. But man, I think they found themselves a quarterback this year, and he's probably the best quarterback in the ACC at least. Sean, do you have any?
I just hate Florida with a passion.
So you're glad that one happened?
I'm glad that one happened. I love watching Florida lose.
All right, we got number 7, Notre Dame. They over Texas A&M 23-13. Notre Dame pulls it off on the road at A&M. This is a very hostile place to play, no matter how good the Aggies are. And with Notre Dame, probably one of the roadblocks that they'll have the next one probably ain't till November, and that's when they roll into the USC. So, I mean, they probably have a pretty good, legit road to the college playoffs themselves if they hold it together. But
I haven't seen the after the Notre Dame game. They showed the graphic there as they were favored in the remaining of all their games, but that was before USC played last night. So I don't know if it's changed, but and that one's. And my wife's a Notre Dame fan, so I got to be careful what I say. But I was impressed with Notre Dame. I thought they looked good. Their defense looked really good. I was able to watch that game, and I was impressed.
Well, no matter how good Texas A&M is, I mean, that's still a tough place to go play. Right. I mean, if you go anywhere in the SEC to play a football game, you're getting into some hostile territory. You know, I mean, it's tough to go there and win.
The 12th man, baby.
Woo! Yeah. You better be careful. Them Rocco fans will think you're talking about them.
This is one of the better games I thought that was on yesterday. I think that A&M's backs, I was really impressed with their backs. I thought they ran super hard. I was also really impressed with their defense. There was, I think, 2 plays that really come to mind. One of them was on a big 3rd down, one of them was on a big 4th down. The DB, I don't know his name, he's number 29. He laid an absolute lick on the receiver, made him drop the ball, and then he basically won the game for Notre Dame, batting the ball down. Could have had a pick, but I don't think he picked it. I think he batted it down. But I was real impressed with their defense, the way they played.
Yep. Anybody else got anything on that one? We have number 23 USC, number 13 LSU. This game ended up being 23-20. I believe it was, wasn't it? Or was it 27-20?
I don't know. I quit watching.
I think it was. They scored late.
Yeah, they
thought
scored.
it was going to kick a field goal, but they scored.
Yeah. This was by far the best game that I watched all weekend. And if there's any doubt about USC being able to play defense, you better take notice because them boys absolutely brought it in this game. I mean, they were laying the licks. Kermit, what are you thinking?
Nah, I had the Tigers big on them, but I can't believe LSU just laid down and let them put it to them.
Here's something else for you. This just goes to show you how good the SEC travels. This game was in Las Vegas. Okay, practically a home game for USC. And 75% of the audience or crowd there was LSU fans. Unreal.
I thought the quarterback play was phenomenal. Both sides.
Both sides. Yep. It was a battle, man. It's like I said, this was probably the most fun game that I watched all weekend.
You know, I thought into the first half, USC had a 2-minute drive. It was less than 2 minutes, but and just cool and calm, got himself in field goal range, missed the field goal, and then did the exact same thing at the end of the game.
Yep.
And the commentators were even talking about how
Yep.
they were just so cool, so calm, and
Oh yeah.
quarterback let them down the field, man.
Yeah, obviously I'm not happy with the turn or the outcome, But I thought that, which LSU really shot themselves in the foot at the on USC's last drive with the targeting. That was horrible. Just a horrible time for that. That kid got through out of the game, and that's what led to the final score. But
Did it really though? I mean, because they had momentum, so they were going.
I mean,
They were moving that
put
ball.
that put them on like the.
Yeah, I think you definitely want to at least force them to kick a field goal.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Make
saying.
them,
I mean, and they were on like the 6-yard line, I think, after the targeting. And I mean, the way they were playing, you wasn't going to stop them from that close. I mean, they were just doing pretty well whatever they wanted. But I was impressed with the quarterback play, like Coach said. I thought both quarterbacks played really well. Until the pick at the main end of the game, that wasn't the highlight, but I'm not happy about it.
Well,
it's tough. It's a tough road being an LSU fan sometimes.
well, at least you're not a Virginia Tech
That is
fan.
true,
And speaking
yeah.
of that, we're up next here. Virginia Tech 27, Vandy 34. I'll just be honest with you, this game was frustrating to watch. If you're a Tech fan, it's another letdown for the Hokies. They were outplayed. They were outcoached. They still have all the ACC games ahead of them, though. So, it's not over for their chances yet, but this has got to be a wake-up call for them, to get them woke up and smell the coffee. It's time to get to business. They can't go through dropping their first 2 or 3 games and then coming on strong toward the end. It's too late then. And
I'm really close with a lot of Virginia Tech fans, so I'm going to let you guys have this one.
well, we want to hear what you got to say.
No.
Me and Aaron, we kind of talk about these old choky Hokies because, man, it's just every time they have big expectations on them, it just seems like they just choke up. They let Vandy get, a 17-point lead on them.
Mm-hmm. It was 17, yeah.
Then come back and scored about 27.
They went on a 27 to, 3 or 6 run.
Yeah, and I mean, at times they look good, but, man, you just can't let a team come out and get up on you 17-0 right off the bat. And they looked awful at first and kind of reeled it back in, but
They widened the pocket up. And that really opened their offense up. I mean, I don't understand why they're not making this adjustment quicker,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the type of quarterback he is. You got to let him widen the pocket, and then you have that more of a threat of him running. I mean, he's dual threat quarterback,
Yeah.
And he throws the ball well when he's moving. He actually throws it better moving than he does standing in a pocket. It's just frustrating. We just Tech got outcoached and outplayed in this game, period.
What he's trying to say is we feel your pain, Sean.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do. But now I will say this, too. Vandy's on the hot seat of getting kicked out of the SEC, period, because they have been terrible. But now they've brought in a new offensive coordinator, and this quarterback that transferred in, he's pretty dang tough, man. He's pretty tough. And they beat Tech on one play.
Yeah.
That stupid option play over and over and over. That's what – I mean, you can't stop it, and I don't understand why there wasn't no adjustments made there either. But anyhow, since Coach has got some Tech fans and ain't going to talk on it, let's –
Did y'all see also that Alabama yesterday played like West Kentucky, beat them to death. But one of those receivers for Alabama is 17 years old. He caught 3 touchdowns yesterday. 17-year-old kid.
How in the world is he 17
He left
years
high
old?
school early. He graduated early just so he could go on to Alabama to play. Yeah, 17 years old.
Well, that's pretty
Pretty
pretty incredible, really.
I thought that was crazy.
All right, we got a short pick'em week this week in college football. There's still everybody's warming up games, so we only have about 3 of them to go on here. So we got number 4 Texas at number 9 Michigan.
Oh boy,
Coach, you being a Michigan fan, we just want to let you start this one out, buddy.
I think offensively we looked a little stagnant this week. Trying to figure out who the quarterback is. I think with Orji and I think moving forward it's probably Alex Orji. But I thought they both, that's the thing that with Coach Moore, his style is kind of the same that Harbaugh's was. It can get frustrating to watch at times, but you're going to do enough to win the game. You're going to rely on your defense and not put the ball in harm's way on offense. And in the Big Ten, the old Big Ten, the new Big Tens might be a little different, but that's kind of the style you had to play, especially late in the season. And so, I think we'll get the offense figured out and get Donovan loose back there in the backfield, and I think the O-line will gel together. It's basically an entire new offensive line, and gel together. But Sharon knows one thing he knows for sure is how to get that O-line to shape up. So I think we'll be all right. I'm not sure if I'd like to have this type of test this early yet, but it'll be fun to watch. I hope.
Well, you take this. Even if you do lose this game, look at everybody else. They're playing all these easier teams. You actually have something that you can go watch film on and really get better from. I like it myself.
It may have been it was either Notre Dame, Texas A&M, or USC, LSU. I think the commentators were talking about that, especially with the 12-team playoff, the loss, it doesn't knock you out of contention to get the playoffs.
Right.
And so before, you basically couldn't lose a game.
Right.
And now I think you'll see a lot more of these tough games scheduled early on because you test yourself and it doesn't knock you out of contention. So,
Yep. Well, Coach has Michigan, Kermit.
Woo! I talked Texas up last year and, wanted to see them in that championship game, and them dogs let me down, so I'm going to go with them Wolverines,
that's
baby.
what I'm talking about.
Wow. Well, I'm not going with the Wolverines. I think Texas was I think sometimes last year they underperformed, but I think they got one of the best quarterbacks in college football. I think their defense is going to be solid again this year. So I got the Longhorns.
Well, this is the way I see it right here.
Oh, boy.
If you remember last year, Kermit got burned a week or two there on the, what was it, the California teams really got him. Well, I believe it's going to be the Texas teams this year because he's going to get them horns hooked in him, baby. I'm going Texas in this one.
Notre Dame done knocked one out. You're getting ready to see another one get knocked out.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Number 15, Tennessee at number 24, NC State. Both Tennessee has got the quarterback of quarterbacks right now. That kid had almost 400 yards passing in one half of football. He went to the Shires early. I did hear him say that he could be the best quarterback in the SEC. I think he's the best in the country that I've seen so far.
Wow.
And y'all gonna see.
That's big stuff.
You're gonna
Who'd
see.
they play at Prairie A&M? Somebody. Who'd they play?
They didn't play nobody, but I'm telling you.
I'm joking. He listen. There's a whole locker room full of Tennessee fans, a coach's office full of Tennessee fans, and so I get to hear about it and I get to learn more about him than I really want to.
Yeah.
But he's really good.
That's the problem with them Tennessee fans.
Sounds like they played Northwood.
Easy, bro. They really didn't play nobody, but if you saw some of the passes this kid throwed, they were on the money. The thing of what Tennessee was missing last year was the deep ball, and this kid's got it. Not only can he throw it but he's actually dropping in the basket.
Well, he played the bowl game for him, right?
He did.
And looked really good.
He did.
So some of the Tennessee fans I thought it might be false hope, and so this was a really good thing for them to see, and I think he is really good.
He is.
It's third year, baby. Just like the last 10. It's third year. That's what I hear every year. It's our year, baby.
One of these years,
Don't be
they might
surprised
cash
though
it
this
in.
year. Honestly, don't be surprised. I mean, I'm not saying it yet. And I mean, NC State didn't look that good this past week either, so Tennessee's going to win this and big. I got the Vols.
I got the Vols, too.
Bad as I hate to, I'll take the Vols.
Agreed.
Okay. Well, they definitely lose now. Everybody picked them. They're done for.
Well, good. I hope they do.
He'll break his leg.
Yeah.
I put this one on here just because it's App State that Clemson's playing. And
I don't like App State.
The giant killer.
Clemson's going to roll.
Coach is already throwing out the Tigers. Well, what am I mean,
Well, Michigan ain't the only ones they've beat. They've beat some big ball clubs.
I really didn't know, Coach, you was a Michigan fan prior to this, or I wouldn't have put this one on there to bring it up or nothing. But App State is a team that is they definitely play big in big game situations normally and everything. But no, the Tigers is going to get that first win this week.
I got Clemson.
Yeah, I like App State, man. They've beat some big teams, but I don't think they're going to beat this giant. I got Clemson.
I thought he was going the other way. I'll go Clemson. I'll tell you a quick story about that App State Michigan game. I couldn't even get it on TV, so I had to listen to it on the internet radio.
Yeah.
And when it happened, it was the one good thing was my wife. We weren't married at the time, but she was in town, and we were listening to the game, and she just sort of left and came back, and I had a coffee maker. I think I had a new computer chair. She just kind of showered me with gifts to maybe get me over the. But it was, man, it wasn't. It was a rough day. So.
She's a good wife.
A funny story also, we ended up playing Florida in a bowl game that year, and ended up at the end of the year, that was probably the best Michigan team that they had in a decade.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. Yeah, definitely.
Played really good football. Tebow, that was the Florida was sandwiched national championship the year before and the next year, yeah. And went to I think it was Capital One. I went to the bowl game and just dominated. And but not that day. Not that day in Ann Arbor.
Not App State.
Such a good wife to try to make things better for you.
Fantastic wife.
High school football, boys. Let's get on over here into it. Virginia High School Week 1 is now officially recorded in the history books, and it's remarkable to contemplate that we are eagerly awaiting its commitment, and now the countdown to the finale has also begun. We waited so long, and now we're waiting on it to end now. Ain't we? And it seems like once it starts after that first week, it goes by quick. We're going to get on into our coach's interview now. Thanks for coming on board again, Coach, and with us this week episode. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Can you give us a little history lesson on your coaching experience up to this point of your career?
So I got out of graduated in Concord University in 2006 and got hired at Marion High School as an assistant football coach. Steve Wright was the head coach there, and Danny Newman was the principal. He's a Lee County guy. And so it's crazy how things work out. And Ron Early was connected there in a principal's meeting, and he said, I know a guy that's certified in PE. And so, and Coach Wright's daughter actually ran track at Concord same time I was there. So kind of had a connection there, and was fortunate and blessed to get hired under him and learned under Steve for 2 years. And phenomenal coach Steve Wright is and was, and an even better man. And learned a lot from him at Marion for 2 years. And then he stepped away, and Mike Briscoe took over, and I was an assistant for 3 years under him. And then was kind of thrust into I don't think I was ready, but I think I was under 30. And took the head coaching job at Marion, and that first year was scared to death. And but just try to do what was best for the kids and the community and that kind of thing. And so kind of worked out. And we were there for I want to say I took over in 2011 as the head coach, and we left in 2019, I think maybe. So I was there for 8 years as the head coach. Then went to North Carolina for 2 years during all that COVID stuff, and then. Brian Coomer, who was my football coach in high school, we had a couple conversations, and we ended up back here in Lee County. So, and we're happy to be here.
Awesome.
Can I ask you a question about
sure.
Marion?
Yes, absolutely.
Did they pass the ball when you was there?
We did. We, the first year I took over, the quarterback was a Marshall Wagner. I don't know if you guys remember. Sam Wagner played running back for Marion and running back for Emory, but Marshall's older brother was their quarterback and set the school record for passing yards that first year. I think he threw for like 1850 or 1900, something like that, and. But yeah, we kind of ran the same offense. We didn't really RPO because hadn't dove into that world yet. But now we had a really good running back, a little number 21 right there, Ethan Richardson, in that picture. He was a 2,200 yard rusher his senior year, and that was over at Tunstall. And but we like to run the ball too, and I guess late in October and November, man, you got to run the football.
Yeah. So we definitely know they like to run the ball up there.
Yeah, they do now. I'll show you a funny text I got later.
All righty. Well, it's come to our attention that a remark that you had made in the Bristol Herald paper this past week has been met with controversy. Would you care to address this with us today?
Yeah, I mean, I guess... basically, I was asked about the rivalry. I think it was Tim Hayes that asked me about the rivalry, and I was part of, the Lehigh Powell Valley and Lehigh Appalachia when I played here, and so tried to kind of go into detail, and then talked about the trophy game and that kind of thing, and then talked about that there have been kids who have grown up here and end up playing for Union, or that have even gone to high school here and transferred to Union. And so I mentioned that, and I think a lot of people didn't like that, but I just mentioned the fact that is the case, and it adds fuel to the fire. Our kids have played with those kids on the same team, and now I wasn't saying anything negative about those kids. It was just that added fuel to the fire. And then I also went on to mention that we're proud of our kids that have stayed, and the kids who are here and stayed, especially through when it was at its worst. And whether they chose, some kids may not have had the opportunity to leave, and so I understand that, but they're still here. And it was more about our kids. I wanted to make sure the kids in our locker room knew that, hey, this is our group. We're proud of you guys. We're gonna go and see what we can do.
Absolutely.
It wasn't a slight at anybody else, man. And but I think some people that wanted to take it and fit their narrative and try to make it that I was talking trash and being a bad guy, and I was just stating the fact about the rivalry. That's it's a little more heated because of it. Guy that plays center for them and defensive line, he started for us both ways as a sophomore and was really good for us. And not saying anything negative about it, but these guys know him. They played with him. Yeah. It adds fuel to the fire. It's just
absolutely.
That's it. That's all I was saying. And I think it got taken way out of context. Didn't mean it that way. I'm not going to back away from the comment. I mean, it's still true. Yeah. But that's all it was.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can see that. I mean, you got them guys here that's wanting to go beat them even more, make that statement, being like, hey,
right.
Should have stayed here,
it was just, I want our guys to know,
that they're appreciated for sticking through the thick and thin.
We want the guys who are here. That's the guys we want,
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah. Well, tell us about your quarterback, Brennan Pendergraft.
He's 4-year starter. You see the board there. He comes in, the board comes and looks at the board every Monday. Usually we're in school, and he'll come in, and sometimes he comes by on Sundays when we get done meeting, and he'll go over it, and anything that's on the first year it was, you could kind of see he's always known football. He's been around football his whole life. He kind of stepped away, I think, as a 7th and 8th grader, and when I took the job, we actually, it was funny. He had a football he brought in the other day, and he said, "This is a football that when I was living in Agnew with my mom and driving here every day that first summer. And on my way home, I would swing by his house, which his dad, Brian, we played together. And I knew that I, needed to try to get Brennan to play football. And so I'd stop by and we'd toss a little bit in the yard and then talk about how the kind of stuff we wanted to do. I gave him that ball, and he had that ball just the other day and said, "This is the ball you brought by that first day." And so it was just kind of an interesting full circle kind of moment there. But he's come so far. He knows everything we're doing on the board. He can go out here. We can, he kind of has a feel for the way I'm going to call a game now, and could probably call it himself. I'm not going to let him do that, but does a really good job for us. Coaches up the other guys, and helps them out, and so we're glad to have him. And anytime, you got a 2-year starter, it's great. 3-year starter, it's great. You got a guy that started for 4 years, and next year it's going to seem like it's a new guy starting. So, and I have never that first year I had it, and then since then I haven't had that yet. So it'll be something new.
Yeah, he's definitely like having a coach on the field. And we need to get his autograph for our buddy Sean here. I'm
a huge Pendergraft fan. I really am. I can't say enough good about the kid.
Right.
I mean, I love the way he carries himself. He's not arrogant. He don't have an attitude. He just plays football, man.
Right.
And I love that. And I think, man, he can really sling it. He can spin it. He really can. I love that kid.
I've got to come up here and watch y'all scrimmage or Tazewell, and got lucky to caught that, and watch y'all get Honaker down there, and man, he throws one of the most prettiest deep balls I've ever seen. And he connects on most of them, and usually they're gone.
He threw a couple really good balls Friday, and just wasn't able to really give him enough time, and that's not a slight to our guys. It's more of a compliment to Union's guys up front. And they were just sending 4 all night, and they're tough, man. Carlos is tough, and those 2 interior guys are really good. And
they're so fast off the edge.
I mean, they're really good football. As much as it pains me to say it, they're a really good football team.
Yeah. Well, you have some good wide receivers also that are very athletic as well. Can you tell us about this year's unit?
Yeah, I mean, we're excited about it. We know we got to be able to run the football a little bit. It felt like Friday night. We just kind of got to the point we kind of felt like we probably couldn't. And so tried to go to a more quick game there early in the first half and kind of make that a run game. And we had a few drops that kind of stopped the clock and stalled out the offense. And that we feel like we have to convert those. We got to complete those. We got to catch those things. But we really like those guys on the outside. We got Connor Early, Stephen May, Andrew Holmes kind of splitting time those 2 spots. And we got Carter Pendergraft, Scotty Napier, and Zach Gregory on the inside. And then you had Virgil Hobbs in there and Aiden Bates, who can play a little tight end, running back, slot kind of thing. And so we really like those guys we've got outside. We feel like we've got 7 or 8 guys that we really like on the outside, and so probably need to rotate those guys in a little more. But it's kind of tough because that's the position I coach and I call the plays, and so it's kind of got to get. I'm going to put somebody else in charge of rolling those guys in and out because they're not going to come out themselves.
Yeah.
I tell them, look, we like to go tempo. Couldn't get any kind of rhythm Friday, so we couldn't go tempo. But they're going to get tired as much as we're going to go downfield, and every run play they're running a route pretty much because 85% of our run plays are RPOs, and so they're never just standing still. They shouldn't be. And if I see them standing still, that's when I'm taking them out. But I usually don't see it because I'm looking at other stuff. But we really like those guys. Feel like that moving forward, we feel like up front we're really going to grow and get better. And so we'll be able to give Brennan some time and be able to use those guys.
Now, is your line pretty young?
It's all new guys. Jaron Schuler's back now. He kind of came out late, and so he didn't get a ton of playing time Friday. He got more than we really anticipated him getting because we just needed him to play, and so he's back from last year's offensive line. But then the other 4 guys are new, and Brennan knows that, and he knows that it's going to take time, and especially for those guys, man, that's a tough first game. That environment.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple times a couple of them come up to him and said, "Coach, I can't hear the quarterback," and I said, "I know, you got to listen. It's loud."
Yeah,
but it's that's also high school football at its best, man.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, what's your backfield looking like this year?
We got Evan Scott back there, and if you were at the Honaker, I think you said were you at the Honaker?
No, we watched it on
TV.
Taz,
we had a couple good runs, and we give him some space. I mean, he's a bigger back, more physical style runner. Just couldn't really even get headed downhill Friday because they lived in their backfield. And again, that's more credit to them than it is. Yep. I'm not saying anything negative about our guys, and then Aiden Bates, more of a scat type back there, and then Virgil Hobbs, will tinker in there some, and so. We like those guys. We think that if we can get those threats established outside, that our run game will benefit from that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what other key elements and standout players do you have on your team that is making a difference this year?
Really feel like defensively, the secondary is really kind of those same guys that we talked about on the perimeter offensively. They've been kind of a bright spot now. We just got through we had our film session this morning, and the secondary film session wasn't pretty because we had some brain farts and things that are uncharacteristic for us. But a lot of those guys, it was their first time, being the guy, and it was a big moment. And then so we made some mistakes, and so we'll learn from those. But I feel like Nathan Shelburne in the middle. He's a sophomore and first time really, being a varsity guy, and he's really. We're going to get him to live in the weight room. I think if I can get him to eat some 45-pound plates over the off season, he'll be a weapon. But he's look, we have problems in practice. He just gets his reads so quickly and then gets where he's supposed to get, and he creates problems for us in practice. And so he's doing a really good job. I feel like Virgil Hobbs inside is doing a good job. Obviously, getting Jaron Schuler back is big. He's going to play. He'll play down some, and he'll play a little in the middle, and so we like him there. And then Evan Scott on the outside, playing outside backer, is doing a good job for us too. So,
all right.
And then up front, offensive line wise, we really feel like those guys, man, they're eager. They want to learn. They want to get better. Today I feel like they were probably the unit, and coach was on them pretty hard today, which I wanted them to be. But they probably had the practice today that you can tell that they really want to get better. And so especially we talked Monday after the way Friday went, Monday morning, it's kind of tough. But they wanted to get after it and get better.
Well, that's what you want to see for sure. Well, Coach, what is your favorite stadium to play in on the road?
I think I'm a football guy, so I mean, I can't say that, but
just don't say Gate City.
Well, I mean, and that's what I'm kind of leaning towards is, I remember growing up, coming to games here. I think it's all when you're a little kid, man, you're always enamored and you're always in awe of, especially again, you see them walking by and the band playing and the pageantry that goes with the games. And the gates were always huge and the people, it was crowded. And so it's all I wanted to do was be part of that. And I think that there's been a few times, even since I've been back, that we've had, and one comes to mind, the Central game 2 years ago. And it was a rowdy crowd. It was rock. The Gate City game here a couple years ago was those games are always big, but I guess and I think we're working on that in our home stadium is our home fans do a great job. We're working on trying to put a product on the field that will give them a reason to come sit in the bleachers and watch. And so we got to do air part first, So we're working on that. But I guess to kind of answer the question, when I was at Marion, a lot of those guys didn't know much about this kind of area. It was more like the I-81, and we end up kind of coming to Union and playing Union, coming to Gate City and playing Gate City, and so it was kind of their first times, and I was kind of telling those guys, and when you tell them about it, you kind of realize, man, there's just a lot of history and the like even Friday night, man, at Bullet Park,
absolutely,
and I'll get shot for saying it, but like just the pageantry and the entrance and all that stuff, and the atmosphere is electric, and it's just. That's how high school football should be, and it's crazy. You go other places, and man, it's not like that.
It's not.
And Southwest Virginia football is different. It's special. I mean, I know Texas and some of those areas is crazy too, but there's areas close to us that
in
it's
a
just
different
not
way
that
of crazy.
Yeah.
Texas is in a different way of crazy.
Yeah.
You're
It's
packing
insane.
guns and a pocket full of knives at those games. But they're like going to like freaking NFL games. There's so many people are in them stadiums. Are
Yes.
huge.
Yeah.
I really thought he was going to say Rick Stadium.
Hey, I will say, I actually have. I would think I've never coached there, obviously, but played there. I guess played there twice in varsity, maybe once or twice in JV, and again, maybe not then, but you appreciate the history and the things.
Absolutely.
It's insane what they were able to do over there, man. With the enrollment and that kind of stuff, insane.
I drove by Friday, and you just look over and you're like, man, that was a special place. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? It truly was a special place.
And, I mean, you knew literally when you go in there, it's going to be a dogfight. I mean, there's no pun intended. I mean, but you just knew. It don't matter how good you are and it didn't matter. I mean, so yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you got your punch in there, K-Dog. He's an old Appalachia boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Coach, you will face another rival opponent this week, and it is a county rivalry. As you face Thomas Walker, can you give us your thoughts and comments on this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously being a county matchup, I'm going to watch what I say. I want people to twist my comments, but I do think that they've got they got some guys that scare you. They got some athletic guys on the outside. They'll take those guys, put them back in the backfield, and get the ball in their hands. And Coach Hall does a good job of doing that and getting the ball in their hands and giving them the opportunity to make plays. And so, offensively, when they're on offense, we got to make sure we keep them corralled and know where those guys are at all times. The McCurry kid runs really, really well, and 6 does a good job. 3 does a good job. And Tanner does a good job getting those guys the ball. And so, and then defensively, McCurry, man, he's a monster, man. He's everywhere. And so we got to make sure we get bodies on him and take care of that. And then obviously those same guys who are playmakers play in the secondary. So we got to make sure we know where they are. And Brennan does a good job of knowing who to test, who not to test, and that kind of stuff. So I think it should be a good atmosphere. County rival, so it should be a good atmosphere. It should be a good ball game.
Is that going to be here? Or
It's at Thomas Walker.
At Thomas Walker. Awesome. Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking some time to give us some insight on the interview. We do have a recap of last week. Guys, if anybody's got anything that really stood out in any of these games, just let me know which ones, and we'll try to move through this part right here a little bit quicker so we can get to our picks and stuff for this coming week. But up first, we had Gate City 20, Richland 0. Anybody got any comment on that one or anything?
KC, you better pick it up. That's what I got to say. Aaron Tipton.
That's kind of the way they played against Richlands last year. Richlands tried to give it to them. They don't want to take it. But
Yep.
Ran the ball well, right, from what I understand.
They did run the ball well, but the offensive line didn't look good. Penalties is what killed them more than anything. Just crazy penalties. Crazy penalties. Then, of course, we had Union 47, Lehigh 0. We've talked a little bit on that one already. This next one right here, Y Central 21, Eastside 22. It was a dog fight.
game.
I'm honestly, it took Eastside a little while to get started, but once they did, buddy, they got a bunch of freshmen out there making some plays for them, boys. I'm going to tell you something. This team's going to be really good for the next several years.
Freshman quarterback, and then we told everybody about the upcoming Rocky Bond.
I'm telling you.
He shines, son.
I seen a video of that kid absolutely cleaning somebody out on the goal
Y
line.
Central could not stop that fullback trap all night long. And, I mean, it was 10 to 12 yards a carry every time.
I know there's one we don't talk about much for Coburn, which does a lot for Coburn. It done a lot for him last year. Is that Luke Trent, man? He really brought his game and stepped up and done a lot of things for Eastside in that game. He run the ball. He caught touchdowns. I mean, Luke, he's a dog now.
They've definitely got some playmakers now.
Yeah,
They
man.
sure do.
They got 3 good guys in the backfield.
Yeah. Well, John Battle was 6. Abington was 42. That's kind of self-explanatory there. You can kind of imagine what happened on that one. Abington's going to be tough this year, boys. Very, very tough. They're good on both sides of the ball. Ridgeview 52, John I. Burton 0. You know, Burton was just totally outmatched in this game. Rocco was 62, Hancock County 6. That's another one where was pretty much a warm-up game for the Cove. Thomas Walker 35, Cumberland Gap 8. If I ain't mistaken, this game was actually closer last year, wasn't it? Wasn't it closer last year?
Yeah, I think it was. I think Cumberland Gap, they scored late, too.
So Thomas Walker looks like they've stepped up, improved quite a bit so far. Castlewood 6, North Green 42. I mean, this is one that I saw coming from a mile away too. If you remember, the Huskies had done snuck up on the Devils. Twin Springs 27, Northwood 0. Big win over for Twin Springs. You know, they're kind of in a rebuilding year. They're trying to find themselves a little bit on the line of trying to get some guys where they can get some depth there right now. But it looks like their guys done pretty good in this one. Northwood's pretty down this year, but big win for Twin Springs there. They're liable to start this thing out 2-0, boys. Big game. Graham was 10, Bluefield 0. Kermit, you got a little bit on that one, don't you, bud?
Yeah. Oh, I tell you, Bluefield, they've got a great defense, and they held Graham most of the game. And if they had a little bit of offense, they might have been able to pull that game off, but which they couldn't do much on offense against Abington either. So, but they still got a great defense.
Yeah. Well, this one right here surprised me a little bit. Marion 13, Chilhowie 39. You know, I figured it'd be at least a whole lot tighter ball game, and I really felt like Marion probably would have won this game, but Chilhowie's, they wasn't too bad last year either. I think they've improved quite a bit from last season to this one, looks like.
And I think Chilhowie did throw the ball a few times in this game.
Have you guys ever been to the Graham Bluefield game?
Yes.
You know, when I was at Concord, we'd go a few times, and that's a nice little atmosphere there too.
Oh, it's pretty heated, ain't it? They do not like each other. And how ironic would it have been, me and Curry talked about this, if Bluefield, because this was at Graham's new field, I believe. I mean, imagine them coming in, the first game on their brand new field, and Bluefield beating them. Oh, man. That would have added a little more fuel to the fire.
I don't know how, the Mitchell Stadium, that's the name of the old one.
Yeah,
it's big enough for that game. I don't know how big Graham's new stadium is, but
I hadn't saw the bleacher part, but
I would almost guess there was a lot of people standing watching.
Oh, I guarantee it was, yeah. Virginia High 35, Patrick Henry 28. This was an overtime game, and this one really surprised me, man.
Blew me away. I thought
I'm not taking anything away from Patrick Henry, but
no, but I thought Virginia High, man, they've got a lot of speed, a lot of talent, and I thought they'd just dominate this game. And I'm telling you, Patrick Henry run right down their throats, and Virginia High had better drives, but Patrick Henry, when their running back broke loose, he was gone.
Yeah. Well, best way to attack speed, straight at it. So you eliminate them, you know what I'm saying? And then the game of the week we had last week was the Lebanon Pioneers 35 and the Honaker Tigers 16. And Lebanon went up there and made a statement. They're letting people know they're back, and they're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Yeah. That quarterback he's got all kinds of weapons. He can really spin the ball, and he looked like he can sit back there all day, really, a lot of times. And it's like we said, you can have them in 4th and long, and that ain't nothing for them. That seems like they got 15, 20-yard plays in their pocket all day long.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, anytime they get in a long yardage situation, it's not no big thing for them. They came out of it a lot of times.
Right where they want to be.
Exactly right where they want to be. You're exactly right. Me and Kermit talked about that in the preseason, and I swear to God, they got in that game and got into those situations
They was
2
in
or 3
what,
times.
3rd and 40.
That one was 3rd and 40.
They come out of it like it wasn't nothing.
And converted it, man. Like one play for them, and they're going down the field then.
Yeah, Chuck Norris got them in the right direction, ain't he?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, week 1 pick'em records this past week. We had Kermit went 12-1. Aaron went 12-1, and our old buddy Sean went 10-3.
It's all right. I'm on the comeback. Don't worry about it.
All right,
Y'all were scheming. That's what
be
it
on the
was. I wasn't
comeback.
here last week. They schemed it up on me. Is what
Now,
happened.
Coach, you are more than welcome to pick any of these that you want to. If there's one that you want to skip out on, you're welcome to do that. Either however you want to do it. But up first, we have Union at Richlands. Kermit.
Oh, go ahead.
It don't matter if Union brings their B team, they're going to win this big.
I got Union by a bunch.
Union.
Coach is going Union. Well, Richlands will think this is the weekend for the time change as their backs spring forward and fall back. I got Union 48, Richlands 0. We got Lehigh at Thomas Walker. We know who Coach is for here.
I think this is 2 teams that we've talked about. It's probably a lot more improved than last year, but I believe Lehigh's going to pull this one out.
I got Lehigh big.
Well, this prediction should shine the bright light of truth on Tommy Walker's gridiron landscape. The Generals' defense will override any brilliance the Pioneers try to deliver. I got Lehigh 42, Tommy Walker 8. Middlesboro, Kentucky, Gate City. Sean, you want to go
I don't
first?
know anything about Middlesboro this year.
But I'll tell you what. If they're any better than Richlands, the Gate City don't play no better than they did last week. I got Middlesboro.
Can't say that I blame him.
Well, we know Middlesboro only brought 1 player last year and almost beat Gate City. If they've got 2 this year, they're going to take it.
But he done it all, son.
I know, but they're going to bring 2 ball players this year.
Both of them can't carry the water and play, too, like he did.
This one's at Middlesboro, ain't it?
This one is.
It
It's
is,
at
yes.
Middlesboro.
Yeah,
No, it's,
I'm going to have to go Middlesboro on this one.
I'll go Gate City.
Well, the Devils will meet a few obstacles before pulling a victory. Gate City 28, Middlesboro 21. Abingdon and Christiansburg. Coach, you got something on this one?
Coach Ambergy coached with me at Marion for a few years. Their XD coordinator, Coach Nutter, coached with me at Marion for a few years, and he's no longer on the staff. He took an administration job, but I know that they played good football last week. I know they like this bunch, and so I don't know much about Christiansburg, but I know that Abingdon's pretty good, so I'll go Abingdon.
Go ahead, Kermit.
I watched Christiansburg there in this last game they played, and they got a fast quarterback. He broke a lot of big runs for them, but I believe if Abingdon can keep him contained, I believe Abingdon can pull this one out with some defense, and I'm going Abingdon.
I got Abingdon in a close one.
All right, the Falcons stubbed their toes on occasion last year, but have apparently learned from their mistakes. I got Abingdon 35, Christiansburg 34. West Central, Marion.
I got Marion.
Marion.
Dog, you're laughing. Come on.
Oh my God! I guess bad as I hate to, I'm gonna take Wise in this one.
Boy.
Well, I want all them Y Central, the good people out there,
boy.
the good guys, to listen up and listen closely to what I have to say right here. You need to say the vocal cords, Warriors rooters. Normal eardrums don't need to hear your version of things. The Hurricanes are keeping their game plan under wraps. I got the Marion Hurricanes 28, the Y Central Warriors 14. Ridgeview Grundy.
Aaron wonders why they hate him. I got Ridgeview big. I think the way they played against Burton, and I think Grundy ain't a whole lot better than Burton, so I'll take Ridgeview big.
Maybe somebody needs to start watching a little more film.
I think they're going to be outmatched just like Burton was. I think Ridgeview's got
probably
too many
right, yeah.
athletes.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're outmatched. I think Grundy's. They got
They got a great running back
Yeah.
right now.
I'm saying like comparatively to
Yes.
Ridgeview.
Oh, yeah, you're
I'm
right.
not saying Grundy's not
I
decent.
think
I'm just
the depth thing's what's probably the difference.
not a good matchup for Grundy.
no.
No. Go ahead, Kermit.
I got Ridgeview big in this one.
Coach, I guess you're...
Ridgeview, yeah.
All right. The Golden Wave won't be so golden this week. Ridgeview 35, Grundy 14. John Battle, Virginia High. This is probably the game of the week, boys, right here. Probably one of the best games that be going out there. Sean, you want to lead off?
I got Virginia High by about 3 scores.
I'm still going to go with Virginia High, even though we really ain't seen what they've got yet.
Is the home team listed second? Is that how it, in all these? Do we know?
I don't know. It's just a mess.
Oh,
I
okay.
think, yeah.
That's all right. I just
Yeah.
didn't know. I didn't mean
Yeah.
to cut you off there.
Yeah, the way we get them on there, we get them off. I get them off of the max preps and. But it may be the way it is, really.
I mean, I think it could make a difference in this one.
Yeah.
That's I know it's going to be in Bristol, but
For sure.
I don't know. Who'd you take?
I took Virginia High. He didn't go yet, right, Kermit?
Yeah, I took Virginia High, too, in this one.
I probably think the Bearcats.
Yes, the Trojans will have to wait a little while longer for their first win. I got Virginia High 35-14. Twin Springs, Unaka.
I got Twin Springs big.
Come on, tell us how big.
I mean, I don't know how big. I was just saying Twin Springs big.
All right, he's gone big, son.
Sean's favorite
I swear to
coach,
God.
he's got them big.
Keith has paid that young and all.
He's not-
You get a check weekly.
I watched Unaka play last year. I wasn't really impressed. I think Twin Springs is quite a bit better.
Yeah, I think Keith's got them boys ready to play. I'm going to go with Keith and Twin Springs.
Agreed.
Look for a road map, Rangers, because you're headed to foreign territory. I got Twin Springs 42, Unaka 24. Castlewood, Honaker. Who wants to go first?
Honaker.
I got Honaker big.
Honaker.
Don't worry, Tiger fans. Your team will be dominant for 1 week at least this season. Honaker 52, Castlewood 12.
Golly.
Burton, Chilhowie.
How'd Chilhowie doing that scrimmage up there, Emory?
Well, you know that they beat Marion this past week, so.
Yeah. But as I hate to, I think Burton's a more improved team, but I still think Chilhowie's going to put it on them this week.
I got Chilhowie.
Chilhowie.
Losing is kind of distressing. Chilhowie 42, Burton 14. Rocco, Northwood.
I got Rocco by a bunch.
Rocco will play half a game. I'll take Rocco.
Rockhove.
Well, you asked for it, and here's the score before they open the gates. Rocco 52, Northwood 0. Eastside Hurley.
I got Eastside big.
I think Eastside's going to go get them some revenge. Now Hurley's got to travel to Eastside this year, and I got Eastside big in this one.
3-day journey.
Yeah, I don't know much about Hurley, but I know Eastside's playing some pretty good football. So Eastside.
Well, if the Spartans haven't learned anything else since school has started back, they have definitely learned how to dot their I's and cross their T's. I have Eastside 35, Hurley 15.
The big I formation.
The big I and the T, baby. They know how to dot it and they know how to cross it. They look good in it.
They run it hard, didn't they?
They sure did. Well, that's all we have for this week. We would like to thank Coach again for taking time out of his busy schedule to join in with us. Coach, we greatly appreciate it. We know you're busy and everything, and we sure do appreciate you taking time.
I appreciate it. It's been fun, man.
Yeah, come on and do it. Most of the coaches do have fun doing it, you know. So, and we enjoy having you guys on when we can. It gives the communities a little bit more insight of what's going on in the programs and everything. And we appreciate you.
Yeah, and I think it helps too a lot with the kids because y'all know them a lot better than we do, and it helps get their names out there and get them recognized and stuff for what they do.
Yep. Well, is all hearts and minds clear?
Yeah, man.
Well, boys, that's another wrap. Peace.